Verbal riot.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the show. We're finally back on Thursday. I know the past couple of weeks have been nuts. We did Wednesday last week. We did Friday the week before, but I'm finally back home on a Thursday. Glad you guys are here, man. It's going to be a crazy ass show. It's going to be wild, man. And I am so excited for the guest that I have because I've been wanting to have her on the show for a while now. We've done a couple of shows together before, but here we are one-on-one. We're going to talk about some things that, well, we probably shouldn't be talking about out loud, but we're going to talk about them. And much needed too, much needed. But guys, how's your week been, man? Like I know it's been a kind of crazy day today in the news. In fact, I'm a little pissed because I kind of feel like Elon and Trump kind of stole my thunder today, right? Like I was like all prepped and happy and ready for the show, and then all this crazy shit happens with Elon and Trump. That's all anyone's talking about. So I'm hoping that I could steal that audience away, at least just for, a couple of hours and give you guys something else to talk about. So, guys, let me preface this, okay? This is a very special episode of VRL. Remember that, like back in the 80s, the very special episodes of a sitcom? It usually involves somebody getting molested and shit, whatever. But this is a very special episode of VRL because we are going to be talking about Black issues, man. And we're going to talk about things involving Black culture, Black politics. We're going to run the gambit of Blackness today. But this is where I have to preface. Guys, this isn't a show where we're not trying to bash the Black community, okay? We're not. And I feel like I have to say this because I do feel like there are channels that are sort of they kind of do that, right? Like they put out content purposely provocative to, I don't want to say shame the Black community, but it's never Black people in a positive light. And this isn't that show. This isn't what we're trying to do. What we're going to try to do is just address problems, talk about things, and just kind of see where we go from here, man, because I just feel like it's needed. So this isn't a bash Black people episode. This is just, there are some problems in the culture and we are going to talk about it. We're going to address them. And, I don't know if there's a solution, but, I feel like they at least need to be spoken about. Now, if you're not Black and you're watching this, sit back and enjoy the ride. Just have fun. Engage, do all that good stuff. But I really hope more Black people are watching this particular episode because it's really about us and we got to talk about some things. So before I just ramble on, let me go ahead and bring out our special guest of the day. You guys, look, I feel like I only need to introduce her because you probably already know who she is. This woman has been in the game probably longer than most people have been on YouTube. So give it up, man, for Gothix.
Hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been in the game a little bit too long.
I remember seeing your videos like back in the day, man. Like I'm talking like 2000, like 17, 18, around
what?
that time. I mean, or at least I remember hearing about, and then I started seeing your videos like a little bit later, like around 2019, I think. But it was definitely, I remember hearing your name spouted quite a bit. Okay. And it was usually kind of gamer related. Mm-hmm. And then, I noticed you started getting a little bit more political.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. It kind of just happened. That was not the plan, and it's still not the plan, but somehow the political commentary has a stronghold on me,
Oh yeah. And by the way, guys, this woman has a documentary on Prime right now that I watched a couple. If you haven't seen the Gothix documentary, watch it on Amazon Prime. It's amazing, man. And it's funny because I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, man, like I knew you got a lot of shit.
Yeah.
For your stances. But to the degree of which you did,
yeah,
I had no idea. Like I was getting angry for you watching that documentary.
Oh yeah. It was a rough time, but honestly, in retrospect, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because I think it sort of helped me grow a pair,
Right.
And I don't know about you if you've ever experienced this, but like when you're dealing with the Black community, there's sort of like this expectation that you have to fit into the certain mold and hold certain ideological beliefs, and
Oh, absolutely.
it kind of operates like a cult if you think about it. And if I hadn't gone through that, I would have still been a part of the cult.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting because watching that documentary and just seeing how, like, look, people talk shit online all the time. That's not a new thing. But for you, it's like you had personal friends
Yeah.
who just turned on you. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's still, I don't know. I'm not angry about it anymore, like I was for a while. But yeah, but you know what the thing is too, is you have to wonder, were these people really my friends, or were they in it for some type of benefit because, oh, I'm growing as a content creator, maybe there's something that I can offer them? I don't know. Those are some of the questions that I have. In the history of all of those friends that stopped speaking to me, I think maybe one person came back and apologized. Everyone else still has me blocked, and that's okay. Live your life. But yeah, that people are weird.
Yeah, to say the least, right? I mean, to say the least. And what really surprises me about the whole thing, though, is like, it's weird that they don't give you the credit that you really deserve, because I mean, you kind of really helped like Black girl gamers, and I don't mean the group, but I just mean Black girls who were gamers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of find their place. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because not every Black girl is, we're not a monolith, okay? Some of us love the hip hop, sure. Some of us love rock. Some of us love different things. Some of us are emo, right? People, they don't show that side of us ever.
Right.
But,
Never.
we are different. And I think you helped a lot of girls who were Black, who were maybe not fitting the regular mold, or the mold, I guess, the stereotypes that people put out there. And they kind of had a voice because of you.
I really appreciate that. I'm sure many would disagree with that statement, but that's very nice of you to say. But no, I mean, I'm totally 100% there with you. It's sort of like a template, that sort of. The thing is like you said, the Black community is not a monolith, but you only see one type of Black person platformed. When you think of the dominant, what do you consider Black culture? It's usually a certain template, and it's never anything that's good.
No.
So yeah, I mean, well, I appreciate that compliment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, watching the video, I was just getting angry for you, because I was like, this is insane. Like, we talk about cancel culture, but I think you experienced it on a level some of us will never even realize.
Yeah. And the thing that pisses me off, though, about that is some people will say, cancel culture, just turn off your computer. Like, Negro, I don't think you understand. These people were literally trying to eviscerate my livelihood.
Exactly.
And if I can't make money, I can't pay my rent. So you want me homeless and dead is what you're essentially implying, right?
Exactly.
There's a difference between boycott. If you want to boycott, fine. And there's a difference between that and literally trying to stop someone from ever having a career in the same space as you.
Yeah, because I mean, they literally targeted you. Like they, it wasn't just about, I'm not going to listen to her. They went after like different like aspects of your life.
Yeah. Yep. My family, my now husband, they were just like, let's just dig up all. That's the thing about cancel culture. It's very like, I don't know how to describe it, but they sort of go the extra mile just to make themselves feel good and try to dig up anything about your past. And it still happens now. I just don't look at it anymore. It's like, okay, whatever, talking shit, I don't care. but like this is like a full-time job for them. Like, let's see what type of, like, imagine what you can do with that type of energy instead of going after someone that you don't like.
Isn't that crazy? Like, they could be doing so many other things. Like they can have the most productive lives in the world if they actually just focus on themselves a little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
And I have to think that a lot of the girls who went after you, and I know there's men too, but I think especially with the women, there had to be a degree of jealousy, right? There had to be a degree of it because of your success, because you were successful, and maybe they weren't as successful, right? And so maybe there was like a jealousy there.
No, definitely 100%. I remember I was, so when I was making my transition, I'm still a woman. When I was making my transition from gaming to political stuff, I still had a few sponsors that originally sponsored me when I was doing the gaming stuff.
Okay.
And one of them was a beer company. I'm not going to say the name of it, but
Sure.
you research.
I know which one. I know which one. I saw the documentary.
So it was a beer company. And this woman, she goes on Twitter. She's just like, she tags the company. She's like, is there any reason why you're still sponsoring this woman who is cozying up to white supremacists?
Oh my God.
I'm
And
like,
you're black. And you're black. What is she talking about?
The person who was saying that was white. Yeah,
See,
my thought exactly.
This is why we're talking about this today, because the stupidity is on a different level, man. And I don't understand it. And in fact, I want to kind of jump right in and just say, you know, let's just start with, when you hear the word black culture, what do you think?
I have two answers. What does that mean?
Sure.
And I guess it's just one. What do you mean by that? Like, what?
Well, yeah, no, because here's the thing. Lately, I don't know either. Like, there was a time where I thought I knew, right? And I don't know. The more I've grown, the more I don't know what that means anymore. I know what it used to mean, because back in the day, actually, black culture meant family. It meant looking out for each other. It meant a lot of good things that it doesn't mean today. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means either. Like, I understand the appeal of trying to appeal to a culture when you're trying to like win them over. Like, for example, I work with an organization called Blexit, which they try to promote conservative values within urban communities. And so they'll go after the culture, but I think they're using this term not necessarily describing an actual template of the culture, because if I'm thinking in general of what is black culture, it's a mess. Like, it's just, it's kind of, everything is just subjective. And like I said, it's usually like the worst parts of being black that get classified as culture. So I don't know.
Well, I know what's being projected, right? Like, I see we all see the videos on Twitter and other places where, you know, black people are acting a fool, either in the store or, you know, wherever they are, you know, beating people up for no reason, like all these weird things. And yes, again, we're not a monolith. It's not, you know what? Look, I promised my viewers that we were going to be real, so I'm gonna just get real with y'all.
Oh, all right.
We're not talking about black people right now. We're talking about niggas.
Oh,
we're talking about niggas. I mean, you know, if we're gonna be gut level honest here, we're not talking about black folks, right? Because here's the thing: black folks I know don't act like that. Right. And I get it, right? I mean, we talk about black fatigue and all that. It's like, trust me, no one's more tired of dealing with niggas than black people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to deal with them. We've had to deal with them longer, right? We've had to deal with, like, you know, them, you know, going to parties and starting fights and shooting and all this other stuff. You know, we had to deal with them, like, you know, when we're trying to watch a movie in a theater and they're loud and being not like, those aren't black people acting like that. Those are niggas.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're gonna be real, that's who we're talking about here.
Yeah. And that's I think the vast majority of people, when they think of black culture, they're thinking about niggas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, and this is one of the eye-opening things for me when I started going through like my political awakening and reading so much on black culture, is this isn't a new thing, actually. Like, this whole like nigga behavior, I think it took on the term, but it's been around for a long time, like way before I was born. And yeah, I hate to be one of those Debbie Downers and say, like, because there's some people that think, you know, wokeness is going to go away and the black community is going to eventually sing like Kumbaya with one another. It's never going to happen.
It's really not.
It's not. No.
Now, I will be fair. Like, there has been a lot of, I want to say, programming, right, that went into this.
Sure.
You know, and if we're going to dive deep, you know, let's just be honest here. The Democratic Party is what ruined the black family. It's what ruined black people, right? Yeah. And guys, the reason why I say this is because, you know, I say up until like maybe the late 60s, early 70s, the black household was a unit. There was a father, there was a mother, right? And they took care of their family. They took care of their children. It wasn't until the welfare system came along, right, that incentivized black women to kick the men out of the home, Because here's the thing, they would send people like social workers to check on homes that were on welfare to make sure a man wasn't in those homes. So it incentivized Black women to, not have a father, not have a man in the house.
Yeah.
And I think that was the downfall right there. If we were going to pinpoint it, that's where it would be.
Yeah, 100%. And it was the slow degradation. I don't even know if I'm using that word right, but it was slowly deteriorating within the Black community. When you incentivize bad behavior, it's common sense. People are going to continue that bad behavior. Not only that too. Have you ever watched the documentary Uncle Tom?
Oh, I haven't watched the full documentary, but I've read the books. I've studied. I've done all that stuff. And,
okay.
Yeah, and Josiah Henson, right, was his name. People don't even get Uncle Tom right when they say the word.
They don't. But if you ever have an opportunity to watch Uncle Tom Part 2, it blows
you mean the
your
documentary
mind.
that came out with recently when they were interviewing the different Black I think
it's like a black and white film.
Yes, actually, no, I'm sorry, I did see that. I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, blows your mind. It's when you go back into like the 50s and 40s, how you perceive the Black community now versus then, it's like night and day. Yeah, you had your problems back then, like every generation does, but as you said, it was more of a family unit. Most people believed in God, worshiped God.
Yeah.
Most people looked after their community. They were do-it-yourselfers instead of having the government do for them.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm sure you've seen it all over Twitter. People are posting these stupid videos because they're afraid that their food stamps are going to get cut. And they're so conditioned to think that daddy government has to take care of them. Like they can't even comprehend that they should be able to do this on their own.
Yeah, no, I see it all. I saw, God, I've seen so many videos on that. And it goes back to the fact that, when you take the man out of the household, right?
Yeah.
You're now telling the woman who is on her own that, government is her daddy now. Government is her husband.
Yep.
Right. As long as she's faithful to him, she'll get those stamps. She'll get that welfare check. Right. And look, I'm not saying there's not people who don't need that kind of assistance, right?
Sure.
I was raised on welfare because my grandparents raised me. My mom and dad weren't in the picture. They were for a while, but then they got hooked on drugs and all this stuff. But my grandparents raised me and my siblings, and they're older, and so they needed a little help, right? And when you have a situation like that, it's like, okay, I get it, right? But when you're young and able to work, you know what I mean? You should be out there supporting yourself. You should be out there taking care of your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I understand too, things happen. Some people need help, but there's absolutely no reason why someone should think that being dependent on the government is like a lifelong retirement plan. Like that's not how it works. At some point, you got to take the training wheels off and do it for yourself, and this is the part where I think when people start, getting at me in the comment section, implying that I hate myself and I hate the Black community. It's like you're missing the point that I'm trying to make here, is that you are allowing the government to manipulate you. They're always going to use you if they know all they have to do is dangle some food stamps over your head and you're just going to keep crawling back to them. At some point, you have to break the cycle because these politicians don't care about you. And the media that panders to you, they don't care about you.
No, not at all. But that's the thing. Is at some point, the Democrat Party did a great job of convincing Black folks that they needed them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's really what it is. I mean, the Democrats and look, guys, you know me, you know that I am politically homeless. I tell you that all the time. I don't care for either party, but I have to recognize the damage that the Democrat Party has done to the Black community, because they have. And it's so weird, the programming that goes into it, because, and when I keep saying programming, because there are literally Black folks who believe that if you are a Republican, you are a racist, no matter what, because that is the party of the racist, no matter what, right? Even if you're Black. If you're Black, then you're just a black face of white supremacy.
Oh, yeah, that's me. That's my label.
Yeah. Oh, I've been called that too. So it's like, okay, sure, right?
Yeah.
It not acting the fool means I'm the white face, the black face of white supremacy, fine. But they did a great job of, programming Black folks to believe that that they need them. They need the Democrats.
Yeah.
And now you have just a whole generation that, if you dare say that you're conservative, right? You are an Uncle Tom, even though they don't know what Uncle Tom means.
Yeah, they have no idea. They never read the book. They're just like, I'm just going to repeat this slogan. It's like there's a quote from Thomas Sowell. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like these people, all they can do is regurgitate slogans and catchphrases, but nothing of reason.
Absolutely.
It's totally true. They can't think. They don't think about what they're thinking about. They're following it. And I agree with you. In many ways, it's programming. And that's just, you're Democrat because you were raised Democrat, your parents voted Democrat, and that's just what you do.
Yeah. And honestly, where I grew up, that's how everyone voted. They voted the way that their parents voted, which were Democrats just because. Now, I'm not saying people don't do that who are Republicans. I'm sure there's Republicans who are, because their families voted that way, they vote that way. But I feel like there's a little bit more of I'll go ahead and say it. I feel like there's more of an independence on the conservative side than there is on the Democrat side. I feel like if you're a Republican, you're not necessarily bound by a lot, where if you're a Democrat, if you cross a line, you are now the enemy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no grace on the side of Democrats or just liberalism in general.
Sure. Yeah. And you know, the thing is I don't, because you're right. People on the right, on the conservative side, some of them will vote based off of how they're raised. And I think that's fine, because the reality is when I don't have kids yet, but when I do have kids, I'm going to raise them with certain values, and that those values are going to formulate a worldview that's going to influence how they vote down the line. Right. Everyone has that. So when you're raised Democrat, you're just going based off of the values that you learned from your Democrat parents. So, but the issue is, are these values actually correct? And I think if you look at the fruits of the Democrat Party and what it's done for the Black community in particular, there is no way in hell you can look at that and say, yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm just going to keep voting for this group that hasn't done anything for me, and in fact makes my communities worse. Like, that's asinine.
It's crazy, but I live here in LA and I see it all the time, where
they'll
continue to vote against their best interests at every turn.
Yeah.
At every turn, rather than try something different, try something new. Hey, maybe this Republican that you've brushed off already, maybe he could bring something that, the Democrats won't. But they will not even take a risk on that, because they don't want to be seen as an Uncle Tom, right? Or a coon or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever lingo they want to use.
Right. And also, that's another thing too that I don't regret about me getting canceled, is before I used to care so much about what people thought of me. And so if they were to call me an Uncle Tom, like you saw in the film, someone photoshopped a Trump hat on my head, and that traumatized me. I'm like, how could you ever Photoshop this MAGA hat on my head? And I was like, these people hate me. And now I just don't care, because their opinions really don't matter. and I think this is what a lot of people within the Black community, they do, is that they dangle that black card over their head and say, you ain't one of us.
Oh, easily. You're not invited to the cookout anymore.
Yeah. Negro, I don't want to go to the cookout. Okay. Right. I have no interest.
Yeah, no, it's wild. And what's crazy about you when it comes to that is, you are a successful Black woman who's married to a Black man. Like, nothing about you screams white supremacy or you know what I mean? Like, it's insane.
Yeah. Well, I've been told I'm white adjacent too.
Oh, dear God.
So because I'm not your tone. Oh, I am white passing, and so I exhibit the white supremacist values just basically because of my privilege of having lighter skin.
Oh, wait. So you're saying they're using colorism against you?
Yes. Correct.
Right? Like, we're not supposed to do that, right? But we're apparently they have no problem doing it to people who aren't on their team.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not on their team, the rules don't even apply. Now, when I think about the other thing about Black culture, besides the politics side of it, getting more into the culture side of it, look, again, and it goes back to programming, because I think about even like our music. I think about, back in the day, like we had hip hop, and sure, we had, groups like NWA, we had groups like the 2 Live Crew. We've had groups who talked about some pretty nasty shit.
Yeah.
At the same time, we also had like a balance of like positive rap and positive things, right? But if you look at like what's happening today, all rap is doing is encouraging the men to be negligent, criminal. They're encouraging the women to be sluts and whorish. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's all promoting the wrong stuff. Like I rarely hear a hip hop song these days that's made these days that has anything positive to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing is, I like hip hop too. I like a variety of music.
Sure.
But and I grew up listening to gangster rap as well. But I also think there was a part of, I think there was sort of like this understanding that for some people who listen to that type of music, there was a separation. Like if you play GTA, you're not going to go out and start stealing cars. You understand that's a form of entertainment, whether it be degenerate or not. But I think now more people actually adopt that type of music as like sort of a lifestyle. And I was having this conversation with my husband the other day about how like we were talking about Sexy Red. You know Sexy Red?
Oh, of course I do.
Okay,
unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys don't know in the chat, she's the booty hole brown girl. Anyways, so Sexy Red. So we were talking about how the argument that you normally hear is that poverty is something that Black folks tend to deal with more. Okay, I hear you. All right. And then you see all of these rappers who mumble rap and they're saying the most ridiculous things on mic, just nothing good for society. Well, how are they getting played on the radio? How are they getting money? And my theory is because these people are not very intelligent, they probably get approached by predatory producers.
Sure.
Those producers hand them a check for what, $5,000, and now they think they're getting money, and thus the cycle continues, and they just keep regurgitating junk food that other people consume as a lifestyle.
And if it was just the music, I'd be like, okay, fine, it's just the music. But it's the fact that they try to adopt the lifestyle of the things that they're rapping about, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And that's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
It's, like you said, you brought up GTA. I knew if I play a violent video game, I can never go out in public and do that, right? I can't just like, you know, kill a hooker and steal her car. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But it's like with the music now, and it's not that I'm targeting music, but because I mean I could go after movies too, but the music is what hit us the hardest, I think, because that's the thing that we hold on to. It's adopting those lifestyles of the people, not just the people, but the things that they're talking about is the problem.
Yeah. Right. And also it seems like a lot of people don't actually want solutions either, because when you look at how people perceive, like, let's just say popular Black conservatives, all right, I won't name any names, but when you look at how the left perceives these types of people, you would think, okay, there's a good role model. You know, that person is nicely dressed, they're intelligent, have a good job. No, they're a coon. Okay. All right, fine. But Sexy Red, totally fine. And then it makes you think, right?
Well, because she's keeping it real.
Right. She's keeping right. Yes. Correct. I forgot. And the thing is I hate the notion of representation in media. Like but every time I hear if there was ever going to be though an argument for representation, it would be, okay, how to raise a family, like what's a good role model for a child. You know what I mean? There is no reason why a Black child should grow up thinking that their only options to make money are, what are the options? I'm gonna ask you, see if you know.
Oh, easy. If you're a guy, either sports or rapping. Right? That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. And so you want to talk about representation? Well, how about we start there? How about we start by showing people there are other career paths that you can take, and then also stop making excuses for when someone starts being real and getting their money by promoting stuff that just infects the culture even more.
Well, you saw what they did with Ben Carson.
Oh,
this man is a brain surgeon and one of the top brain surgeons at that, right? And look how they demolished that man. They went after that man like I've never seen them go after another Black person. And I'm like, this is the guy you're going after? And I like what you said in your documentary about how, like, you know, with the difference with Cardi B and Candace Owens, right? It's like these women will celebrate Cardi B shaking her ass, right, and talking about, you know, how wet her vagina is, but yet Candace Owens, you know, is putting out some real knowledge, and they're like calling her, you know, like a coon and all the other stuff. So I mean, and again, it's not black people who are doing this. I have to reiterate that. You know,
well, I have another take. Did you see my recent video I made on black? What was the new word? Black.
Fatigue.
Fatigue. Yeah. So
I saw some of it. Yes.
So I brought up niggas, and then I also brought up the intellectuals because as you said, part of it is programming. So you got these black intellectuals that will go to college and they will learn all of the talking points. And then these people leave college and then they'll make excuses for the niggas.
Yes, they do. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And I saw a different video about that where, they were talking about the fact that, you know, these black leaders basically will sell their soul and sell their people out. Right. And they're the ones who are, you know, giving black, well, again, niggas, all the excuses in the world for why they're not successful, all the excuses in the world why they're the victim. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's the black leaders who were doing this.
Yep. It's like, remember, of course, how could we forget Black Lives Matter in 2020? But there was this one viral clip that went around with this black chick. She was wearing a mask and she was saying to the reporter, she says, these people are stealing because these are reparations. It's like, okay. Again, making excuses for theft by saying it's reparations.
I'm so tired of that word. Like I just really never want to hear it anymore. Like I get it, guys. Look, I'm one of those people where I understand why the reparation topic comes up. I get it, right? We were promised something that they didn't give us, and there's a debt that's owed in that way. The problem is that at the end of the day, we're never going to get it. But let's just be realistic here. We're never going to get it. So why not just like educate yourself, become a success on your own, and quit thinking about like money this imaginary money you're never going to get. You know what I mean? Like it's just time to move on from reparations. I'm sorry. It's just, it seems goofy in 2025 to still be talking about reparations. Yeah,
it is goofy. That's a very accurate description of it. It's because also people have the various arguments. The way that I look at reparations is you are trying to cash in on trauma that you didn't experience.
Exactly.
So that's great. That's a scam. That's what we call a scam. Okay. And you could be doing something with your time, you know, all the time you have spent on complaining about reparations, you can build up that wealth on your own. And I don't know. It seems exhausting to go through life thinking that people owe you stuff.
And again, especially in 2025, I mean, if you look at what we have, man, like my grandparents, they, you know, Jim Crow, right? Like they grew up doing all that. They were born in the 20s. They lived through a lot of stuff. And, you know, somehow they were able to work hard. They were able to buy their own home. Now, I get it. Things are different now with inflation and we're getting robbed out here in California. I get it. But they were able to do this, right? Back on those salaries, back in the 30s and 40s, right? And they were able to keep the home together. So we live in 2025 now where we have everything at our fingertips. We're at the point now where college is almost irrelevant. Like if we want to learn something, we could just hop on YouTube right now and learn whatever the fuck we want to learn and not pay a dime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we live in a time of opportunity, but yet we have the most victims now than we've ever had. I hear more complaining now from these young people than I've ever heard from my grandparents who grew up in Jim Crow.
Yeah. I call that black privilege. The privilege to blame all of your shortcomings on everything else but your own actions.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, you know, that word, that black privilege word has gotten really, it's been a hot topic lately, right? Because you know, people don't think it exists, right? They think it's some bullshit. They think that, you know, what are you talking about, black privilege? We had no privilege. I don't know. I look at something like a Carmelo Anthony, right? I mean, this kid, you know, look, I don't know all the details other than the fact that he stabbed that kid. He stabbed that kid and he confessed to it. And that's why I know he did it. Now they're trying to say it's self-defense. That's to be proven. But how does he get all this money donated to him? After stabbing somebody? How does that even happen?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of in the same boat where I don't know all the details of that either. So I usually like to keep my mouth shut about these cases because I wasn't there. But there are some people, I think a lot of people, that they just see things in like a black and white issue, and they just know support the Black community until otherwise noted, regardless of what they've done. You know, it's like, I'm sure you've seen stuff like this when someone gets locked up. You look in the comment section of the post. What do you see? Free my nigga. Free my nigga.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God.
Why? He stabbed someone. What are you talking about?
Free Tory Lanez, free R. Kelly, free. I mean, I've even seen free Diddy.
Oh,
I've even seen free Diddy. I'm like, Black folks, what are we doing here? We've lost the plot.
Yeah.
We've lost the plot. I mean,
It's
are
a
you
mess.
kidding me? But to raise that kind of money, because the last time I checked, it was like something like $700,000 was raised. I'm like,
Wow.
for stabbing somebody. Now, on the flip side of that, we could look at somebody like, Shiloh Hendrix, who, made almost $1 million just for saying the N-word, and say that's just as retarded, which it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like Shiloh Hendrix was a response to Carmelo Anthony, like a direct response. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, if you guys are gonna give this guy money for stabbing a white kid, then we're gonna give this chick money for saying the N-word, which is insane to me. But
yeah. And also it's worth noting that this is what I hate to say the word, I hate to say Democrat, because I haven't decided on this. I have the feeling that Democrats have never been good for Black people, but I think that by and large, it's communists that are parading around as Democrats that are benefiting off of this sort of racial tension. Because even like back in the 50s or 60s, they even predicted it. Like, this is going to be a sore spot that communists are going to use to tear the country apart, is pitting Black against white. And the Black folks, it's like, you have to literally have your head up your ass to not realize that you constantly complaining and calling for victimhood and just getting angry at white people, at some point people are going to get sick of that, and it's only going to benefit one person. It's not going to be you.
No, yeah, exactly. And again, also though, like, just, I don't know, man, and maybe because I come from a different time period, I just hate that victim mentality so much. I feel like, and obviously it's not just Black folks who use it. I mean, you see the LGBTQ community use it at will, like at will, right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother topic, because I mean, the feminization of Black men has gotten to the point of insane.
I have a hot take.
Oh, I want to hear it. I want to hear this.
Canceled. I'm gonna put on my Dr. Umar hat.
Oh, please do. I told you, no holds barred on this one. Just
all right, here we go. You cannot be pro-Black and pro-LGBT at the same time.
That is a hot take.
And I'm going to unpack that for you.
Yes.
As you just said, the feminization of Black men. Okay, so you already acknowledged we have that problem. Plus, we have broken households because we've incentivized single parent homes. And now you want to take more couples and put them in gay relationships. And on top of that, you got the abortion issue. So it just sounds altogether like less Black folks to me.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Take the Black man out of the home. Take away his masculinity, and less Black people procreating, right?
Yeah.
And they throw an abortion in there just for goodwill.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And there you go. There's a lot less. You want to know why the Black community is so small? It's because of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And they're being, it's like being promoted almost, right? Like these weird numbers of, if we stop abortion, then what are Black women going to do? And I'm like, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, that's very
weird.
strange.
Like, why did you go straight to Black women when you said, it's going to affect, women?
Yeah, they said the quiet part out loud.
Right? Like, and they don't even realize they do this. They do this so many times where they just say the quiet part out loud. And I look at other Black folks like, are you guys not hearing the same thing I'm hearing? Like, am I living in a bubble? Because I just heard them say this.
And they don't like the facts. Like this, these people, a lot of folks, when they've been so indoctrinated, you can literally shove the facts in their face and they don't care. There's so many quotes of Margaret Sanger, who was the founder of Planned Parenthood. She talked about what she wanted to do to the Black community. Did you know, fun fact, not fun, but Hitler even was a fan of Margaret Sanger's work. Did you know that?
that I did not know. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, it's healthcare for the Black community. Okay, says the white supremacist.
Right. Wow. That is, and that it's crazy to think about that. Their plan's working.
It is.
It's working, right? Like this is happening. But like the feminization of Black men, I mean, and we see it with the Hollywood bug breaking. Right, it's like any chance they could put a Black man in a dress, they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like what I was talking about in my other video. It's like Black people have made skin color an idol, but a lot of people make fame and money an idol too, and they will literally do anything, put on a dress, embarrass themselves, and it's like all for what? Just a temporary paycheck. I don't understand it.
Well, yeah, and I remember I was watching. Actually, before I get into that, I'm so bad at this. We have a super chat from Rapscallion for $10. Man, they sold us queer giraffes. They always will. It's I'm sorry. It's Politician 101. I'm off today. Politician 101. Love from privileged Scotland. That many poor areas, but many rich politicians. Yeah, there's a lot of rich politicians. And thank you, by the way, for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Also, you became a member, which thank you very much. I really appreciate that. All right. What was I talking about?
I can't remember. It's a good conversation, though.
Yeah. One second. There we go. I am so bad at YouTubing.
Me too. I don't know how I've survived this long.
But yeah, no, we're talking about the Hollywood bug breaking, right? And I was watching Marlon Wayans on Club Shay Shay. Okay. And he was talking about because they brought up white chicks and the whole deal, and and he was saying that as a comedian, you can't tell a comedian how to be funny, right? And so sometimes wearing a dress is funny. And I thought, sure, man, but you got to look at like what you're kind of putting out there too, right? Now it's easy to do that, I guess, when you're rich, and for me, the problem I have with him also is the fact that all of a sudden he has a trans kid too. Yeah, it's like, okay, here we go. You're just falling in line with the rest of them, right? And it's so weird to be that all these celebrities have trans kids all of a sudden. It's like it's such a weird. It's a weird. Look, I'm not super religious, even though I'm trying to get back into the game. My girlfriend has been bringing me back, doing Bible studies. We've been doing the whole deal. I've been slowly creeping back into the Christian game.
Okay, all right.
Making my way back because I used to be hardcore before and kind of lost my way, but I'm kind of trying. Okay. But I just feel like there's something so demonic about right, yes. and I know
it is.
To say, and look, I'm gonna catch hell for even saying this, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
There's something so demonic about what's going on right now, from what I see in Hollywood, as far as all of a sudden all these celebrities have trans kids, and it's almost like kind of like an offering.
Yeah,
right? It's like their weird way of it's like their weird offering. They're saying, "Hey guys, I'm with you. Here's my child."
Yeah,
right. Do what you want to them.
100%. I mean, I know you said you just started reading, getting back into the Bible, but this is literally what they did in the Bible with Moloch, the giant bronze statue. They put babies and literally burned them alive as a sacrifice to their gods.
That's crazy.
And if you think about it, the whole concept of trans, at the core of it, it's you saying that God made a mistake without actually saying it. It's like, God made a mistake and I can instead be my own God and choose my own identity by way of like medical procedures and socially, transitioning. It's basically a giant F you to God.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And I mean, if we're being real, I mean, Hollywood is very anti-Christian, right? And I know like that's kind of general to say that, but if you really look at like just every aspect of it, I mean, it's all about the worship of yourself, right? Being a celebrity is the worship of yourself. Now, you got some people who kind of ride those waters a little better than others. Like, you know, you take like a Denzel, you know, he seems to be pretty grounded to be, you know, in that circle, but there's not many Denzels out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone else is selling their soul.
100%.
And especially if you're black, because you have to give more.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's weird to say that, but you do. As a black celebrity, you got to give a lot more.
Yeah. It's that's deep. It's real though.
It's very real. I mean, you look at the things going on with Diddy, right? I mean, these people, you know, were willing to do anything to be famous.
Yeah.
Anything to get that rap deal. Anything to be part of that entourage, right? Like anything. So I mean, but look, what grown people do is what they do. My problem is when the kids get involved, like when they, you know, the children shouldn't have to suffer for your sins, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, that, you know, I made a video on this too, specifically with like the LGBT stuff and how it was always going to lead to kids. Because if you start by and this is the thing, is that these people do things in small increments, because obviously they can't go straight out the gate and say, let's trans the kids, because they're going to be like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
So they do it in small increments. And if you can make the argument that you being assigned male or female at birth was a mistake, and you can actually affirm your own gender, and then you make the argument that trans affirming care is a human right, logically you have to extend that human right to kids. So eventually it was going to get to kids. So, you know, they test on the adults, and you know, it's unfortunate. And unfortunately, the other thing too is like abortion, it's the same exact thing. It's like, yeah, they're doing it to kids, but the argument that you have there is that the location of the human determines whether or not that person can live or die. And I'm sorry, tyrants would love that argument, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can apply it.
Yeah.
You can easily apply that. Yeah, no, it's wild, man. And by the way, let me just say this, because I already know the hell I'm going to catch for this whole segment. Look, this isn't me saying like, you know, I have an issue with gay people. Like you are what you are, you know.
Same.
If you know, whoever you want to bang is who you want to bang. That's not my business. I don't really care. And I think most people have that perspective. They don't care what you do in your own home or whatever. No one cares, man. It's not until you infringe on someone else's life style that people start to care. No one cared about the trans stuff until they went after the children. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and this is where I've said, and I formed this conclusion before I ended up at Christianity. I was trying to like figure out, how do we fix society? This was like in the middle of my red pill moment. I was like, how do we fix society? There's so much conflicting things going awry. And I think where things went wrong was when we started affirming and normalizing something that shouldn't have been normalized in the first place. And I think that's the reality that people miss when they hear a conversation like this. They automatically will probably say we're just being hateful and bigoted or whatever.
Right.
And in actuality, the world is always filled with competing worldviews at every moment. So it's always this tug and pull of which worldview are we going to say this is the standard that we have to live by. And there has to be that standard. Otherwise, you go off the rails and now you're transing the kids. So in order to get back to the standard, you're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to take a stand on opinions that are not popular with the vast majority of people. And that's going to upset a lot of people. But it doesn't mean that I hate you. It just means that I think you're wrong.
Yeah. And I feel like it should be okay to say that, right? Like I don't have to agree with your lifestyle. It does not mean you don't deserve the same rights that I have. Look, you pay your taxes, and you know, like everybody else, I don't care.
No taxes.
I agree. I hate taxes, but I'm just saying, you know, as long as you're law abiding and you know you want to live your life the way you want, I have no control over that. I don't care about that. That's your life. You know, but when it comes to children, someone has to kind of protect kids, man. Like they like if we don't, then who will?
Right.
If the adults aren't protecting children, then who is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And when it comes, especially when it comes to like, since we're talking about Black issues, man, it's like, this is why it's important for Black men to hold on to their masculinity. That, like, stuff like this, man, like, because I know we're in a time now where if even if a Black dude stands up for something, he's immediately shot down by Black women, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? Like, and they will listen to the Black woman's side over the Black man's side, who does try to stand up. So what happens is, when a Black dude realizes he has no voice, and what happens with his kids, he just leaves. And then you have the single mom with the kids, right? And stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying they're not assholes out there who just knock women up and take off, but there are a lot of situations where Black men try to stand up for their families, and then they get shot down, not just by the Black women, but by the courts that protect them in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think it's all strategic too. Like, just as you said about like Black men just not having a voice, because also, if you think about it, statistically speaking, if you look at, you can sort of see the outcome of what it looks like if a Black mom was going to raise a child on their own versus a Black dad raising the child on their own. There's an argument to be had about which one would be more beneficial for the outcome of that child.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I think if you're essentially giving the Black woman the microphone the entire time, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all. I think we need strong Black men. I think we need strong leaders. And we're not getting that. And we kind of see the effects of that.
No, yeah, we're not. And, again, if we're going back to the core of where all our problems started, again, it's because the Black man is not in the home anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a whole generation of kids now. And like I said, we see it on YouTube, on Twitter all the time, of videos where, these young kids, these young Black kids, are just acting a fool and being obnoxious and having no regard for, like, respect or law. And that's because you've taken, again, masculinity out of the home.
Yeah.
Because when I think about when I was younger, man, oh my God, if I did half the things I see these kids do today, my ass would have been beat so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my ass was already beat, but it would have been beat even more if I even dared do half the things that I see.
Yeah. Well, to piggyback off of that, because someone mentioned that earlier in the stream, they're just like, bring back ass whoopings. And I said, yes, I think it's good to bring back ass whoopings. However, I would also add to that, because I watch a lot of, one of my the hobbies is to watch body cam footage on YouTube. It's a thing of mine. I don't know why.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll see a body cam of a Black teenager acting up, and then their parent comes into the picture and they're doing the same exact behavior. So ass whoopings are good, but I think you gotta make sure that when you give your kid an ass whooping, that you are not furious in that, do it out of love instead of like wanting to literally crash out on your kid, because your kid is gonna grow up emulating you.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And you should never spank your kid in anger, even though I was spanked many times in anger.
Oh, me too. But I also had a lot of anger growing up,
Exactly. There are problems that come with that. But no, I do agree, like, discipline definitely needs to come back. I just think there needs to be a healthy fear again, right? Like, I think that's the problem, is that there's no healthy fear of repercussions.
Yeah, no, I agree. Repercussions, there seems to be a lack of accountability. It's funny because I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a Black pastor in Georgia that had a sermon about this exact topic, about how the Black community lacks accountability. And all of the woke pastors were just so angry. How could you ever say such a thing? And I'm like, is he wrong? Is he wrong, though? He's not wrong. If we're talking about, in general, the Black culture, there is a complete lack of accountability.
I don't know. I feel like there's nothing worse than a woke preacher, man. Like, I look, wokeness and Christianity should never go together.
It can't. They're incompatible.
That's insane to think that a preacher of the word is woke, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
I I come from a background of I was the people who watch me know this. I admit it all the time. Back in the day, I was a cringy leftist. You know, I was, hardcore.
Ew.
I was cringy. I was like, I was one of those people who would call people Uncle Toms. I was that guy, right?
Wow.
Up until the lockdowns, and then my eyes kind of opened up very quickly to what was going on. It's like, oh no, we're getting played, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've always had an issue with BLM for the most part. It's I got blocked by Sean King like probably like a year or two into Black Lives Matter because I started asking questions he didn't like. And then I started asking other BLM leaders questions they didn't like, so they blocked me. So I started kind of getting the gist that, oh, this is a scam.
Yeah.
This is what this is. But unfortunately, it's a good scam because their scam is based on, Black Lives Mattering, right? So how do you fight against that, right? If you were to say something bad about Black Lives Mattering, then you are an Uncle Tom or a coon.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's in the name. It's a very just surface level slogan specifically made to have that outcome. So how could you ever go against Black Lives Matter? I do not care about Black lives. It's
right. So it's a great scam.
It's genius. Genius. It's
I mean, I wish I would have thought of it. I mean, it's like
you could have bought 5 mansions by now.
Easily. Oh my God, the money.
Yeah.
But you were called all those names, and I've always had to deal with that anyway, just because where I grew up. Like I grew up in the hood, like it was not a nice place, but because my family was like pretty, educated, like I think the majority of them were graduated from college. I've always spoke a little different, right? Like even though I lived in the hood, I would always get, made fun of and called, white boy just because I could speak the King's English, right? And you know what I mean? And so I've always had to kind of like shake that. But yeah, now it means something very different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So someone said talcum X.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so your wake up moment wasn't that long ago. Oh, that's a very interesting.
Well, I was slowly waking up, but I was still kind of holding on because I'm like, no, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong. I'm on the side of right, but I was seeing some cracks, right?
Right.
But I think the lockdown kind of because I didn't have anywhere to go, like I'd have to go to work and all these other things because we were locked down. I was able just to process everything and start seeing things differently. And I think that's when I really just started kind of waking up to like, okay, there's someone pulling strings here.
Yeah.
On both sides. And before I wasn't able to admit that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think that was a wake up time for a lot of people too, because when you're at home, you're kind of forced to just, find things to do with your time. I started reading. It was one of the things I did, and Democrats don't like that. Is that my phone that keeps going off? Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that is my phone. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people just kept reading during 2020 and the lockdowns, and it's the best thing because now I can smell BS a mile away. I don't fall for nice words, which I think like we were talking about how, Black Lives Matter. It's just very topical without any substance behind it. And I think a lot of people just stop at the slogans and they just assume it's good intentions, like we were talking about the trans thing earlier, affirming healthcare. It's like, well, okay, I don't see how that's healthy. It's just a play on words. And I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, but it's just because when you have time to really think, right? Because we live in like this high-paced, society where we got to go to work and then we got things to do after work and then we have this to do and this to do. It's easy to just hold on to slogans because those are easy, right? But when you're alone with your thoughts, then that's a different topic, right? Because now it's like, oh, you have to really think about things and why are things this way? And then it was funny. I remember I started asking more and more questions about the vaccine, about the lockdowns, and the more questions I asked, the more liberal friends I lost. Just from asking questions. So that's when I knew I was on to something. I'm like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I
Yeah.
started speaking up about like, transitioning kids, and that was the death knell of my
Yeah. Don't.
friendship with a lot of my friends on the left. But you got to ask those questions, man, and you can't just be a sheep.
No, we can't be a sheep. A fun side story. I actually I'm looking for a new primary care doctor. And today I went for my first appointment and I'm filling out the patient intake forms and I just see what are your pronouns? She, her, they, them. And then I see another section where you assigned female at birth, male at
Oh
birth.
my God.
And I'm thinking about like, cause okay, I guess, I don't know, TMI, whatever, I don't care. My husband and I are trying to start a family. So we need to speak to someone that specializes in that. And as I'm doing this intake form, I'm like, do I really want to go with a doctor that doesn't know what a woman is to help me on this journey?
No, that's insane. That is craziness.
So I don't know if I'm going to go back.
Wow. I see. And I've spoken to doctors who told me that they know it's ridiculous. They do. They have to do it. Like they have to give these forms out. They have to ask these questions, and they think it's stupid, but they have to do it by law, right? And what was crazy is I'm seeing that on job applications now.
That's
like
nuts.
I was just looking around the other day, and there was this one company that seemed kind of interesting to me, so I was checking it out, and I look at their application, and they're asking me about like what's my sexual preference and all these other things. I'm like, why are you asking this on a job application?
Oh, that's crazy.
A job application has nothing to do with that.
Man.
I'm like, this is nuts now that this is so ingrained.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I've heard of some businesses including like the pronouns thing to sort of weed out the pronoun people. So that might be a thing. But if you're asking about sexual orientation, I have a feeling that that's probably not the goal, is to weed people out. You're probably looking to hire more.
I think that's what it is. But I'm like, how is this legal? Like back in the day, you could never ask those questions on a job application.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now it's fine.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really weird, but it just kind of again goes back to the fact that we've lost our way, man. As a country, like we've really lost our way.
Totally.
And yeah, even though I would say, in the Black community, we have a lot of issues. The country as a whole needs some healing.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
But speaking of like, kind of, being your own person and working hard, you're working for Eric July now.
I am. Yep. I'm that girl.
Which is great. And look, I mean, Eric is, again, another guy who's been in the game for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Very smart guy, very good at what he does. What's that been like working for him?
It's been fun. Well, for a couple of reasons. And I've been very public with this. Like, I feel like I had gotten pushed into the political commentary and it's very difficult to fight your way out of that. Like, I understand the importance of speaking out. Like, I'm very vocal on certain political issues,
sure.
But I also don't want that to consume my life, because I had quit corporate America so I can do creative things. I want to have fun and be my own boss. And in many ways, getting pushed into the political arena, I am working for a bunch of people that on topics that I don't really want to talk about all the time. So I was like, I want to do something fun, something creative, and I want to work as a team. And then Eric reached out to me and I'm like, yes, let's do it. So no, it's been really, really fun. It's been giving me something to do every day that I really enjoy doing. And who knows where that will lead. I mean, I've been saying I want to do more creative stuff. I don't know what that looks like. That I've never worked for a comic book company before. And truthfully, I am a very much of like a novice when it comes to comic books, like before Eric hooked me up with a gig. So, but yeah, it's been fun.
Have you been to the conventions?
Not yet. Nope, not yet.
I know they had one recently, right?
Yeah, they had one recently in Dallas. But yeah, whenever they want me to go to a convention, I'm down to go. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like in the documentary, you started out in gaming, which is
Yeah.
very different than politics. I mean,
I know it's yeah, and it's crazy because I've gone to more events related to politics than I have gone to gaming. But when I go to the political events, I still feel so out of place in a lot of ways. But the difference is it just is always fascinating to me. Like when I would go to like TwitchCon, I would get approached by a bunch of people that would watch my channel and they were like, "Oh, Gothix, we love you. We love you." None of those people like me anymore. Okay. Don't like me at all. But the political stuff, it's like, Gothix, I'm such a fan of your work. And I actually believe them. Like I actually believe what they say about my channel. Which is it's just night and day where someone appreciates my work as a creator for my intellect and not necessarily like, what I was doing on stream on Twitch, which I mean, it's fine. It's fun. I did fun things and that's cool too. But when push comes to shove, obviously those people aren't around anymore because they don't like what's up here. And I think that's the most important thing for me.
Well, yeah. And also, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, like, and I'm not shitting on anybody who's part of the Twitch community, but the Twitch community is a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little weird to say the least.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Every now and then I hop on Twitch and because there's certain people I watch and it's just kind of like it's a weird platform. And I'm a huge fighting game nerd, so like I follow all the fighting game channels. And but it is a really weird community, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying it's a bad community. It's just very different than like any other community. Like it's even more different than the comic book community.
Yeah,
which is crazy to say.
Well, what the thing is, okay, this is just my observations, okay, because the Twitch community is very, very strange. It's very progressive, but they're also like a lot of them. I don't know. Okay, it's gonna sound mean. A lot of them are very weak. Like they're very all barky and they're snappy. They're like little ankle biters, but they're very weak. They got this weak demeanor to them, mask wearing VTuber type of demeanor. But like the comic book community, if they don't like you, they are nasty. I mean, and they are relentless. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys?
Oh yeah. I mean, shit, you see it all the time. I mean, and especially when it comes to the movies, man. It's like they could be just completely ruthless. But that's part of the charm. Like I remember, back in the day, we would go to comic stores and there would be heated debates in the store between customers on certain comics, and I'm like, is a fight about to break out? Like, should I come back later or? The comic community is very different.
Yeah, very. I would say that's a good word for it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see, I mean, I think it's cool that there are, going back to the representation thing, there are a lot more like Black creators out there, which I'm at least happy to see that because it's like, okay, good, do something productive, find something you're passionate about. If you can make money on it, great. Just do something, right? Like, just don't sit and complain about everything.
Mm-hmm. Don't sit and complain. Do something, but also take the losses and learn from them. Yes. I don't want that to fall into this habit of, well, I'm Black and I made something, but you don't support it. Is your stuff good? Like, if it's good, I'll support it. I'm not going to support it just because you're Black.
Oh my God, you are preaching to the choir on that one. That is crazy because when my friends like embark on something, I do my best to support them. Like when Ripper started, I was one of the first to get my comic, and if I believe in your product, I will buy it. Like you don't have to sell me on it. I will buy it, but you got to come correct too. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if you're putting out something half-assed and you expect me to buy it because I'm Black and you're Black,
right?
No. And you see that with a lot of Black businesses too. Sometimes where it's like, dude, you got to give me more than that. You got to do something. What you're putting out is half-assed.
Yeah.
But you're expecting me to spend my dollars because you're Black. And then it will chastise me because I will go to another store that might be owned by somebody Asian or somebody white who puts out a better product. Like, put out something good and I will buy it. I don't care who owns it.
Yeah. It's funny that this is all coming back to me now in my Twitch streaming days, how like the Black Girl Gamer and there was another community called the Cookout that they yeah, it's so stupid. So I was a part of both of these communities, and when I was a little baby streamer, I joined these communities and then I started getting more popular, which I think honestly, if we think about it, I think a lot of it did have to do with jealousy, but that's just my speculation. But one of the common critiques that I was getting when people were coming after me was that the majority of my audience members were white, and that I wasn't attracting a lot of Black people to my channel, as if that meant something. But likewise, in the reverse, the majority of people that supported their channels were Black. Like if you went into their channels, we're talking about Black culture. It was Black culture on my screen all the time. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so you're focusing on Black versus white instead of what is the product that you're offering? Like you are the product. What is your branding? Can you make your branding appeal to all audiences instead of just one core demographic? Because I can tell you the way that you're acting is probably going to attract more people on the Black side than the white side. And like, I'm not keeping tabs. If you like my content, support my content. Don't support me just because I look this way.
Right. Oh my God. And we see this in Hollywood all the time. I mean, it's, instead of writing characters that mean something, that have, personalities that, like if I could watch a movie and I'm looking at a character and the only thing I can notice about them is that their skin color. I know nothing about their character, their personality, nothing. That's a bad character. And we see that all the time. And we see that when Hollywood tries to race swap characters, right?
Yeah.
It's batshit to me that, why the fuck did we have a Black Little Mermaid? I don't understand that, right? Like, we didn't need that. No one asked for it. No one really asked for it, if we're being honest. Yeah. When they do these race swaps and these gender swaps, it's like you are adding nothing to this character other than changing their skin tone.
Yeah.
Like for the sake of representation.
Right. And like I said, it's representation that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of it all. The representation that matters is how should you model yourself in society, in the real world? Because when I was a little girl, I watched The Little Mermaid. It didn't even dawn on me that she was white. All I thought was, this is a pretty mermaid. That's it. And by the way, why are you gonna make Ariel Black? Black people can't swim, so I don't see the correlation here. This is a fantasy.
Oh, you'll get in trouble for that one. No, I hear you. Like for me growing up, because I've been reading comics since '83. Like I'm an old school comic book nerd. But my favorite comic book character has always been Captain America. Always. I've been Steve Rogers was like, I want to be like that guy, right? He embodied everything that I wanted to be: strong, noble, honorable, patriotic. He was just like, he was the guy, right? And so we get this new Captain America, right? They retire him out and put in the Black guy. And I'm like, just because you changed his skin color, like that doesn't make him Captain America.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know nothing about this guy, right? And the movie does a bad job of explaining who this guy really is.
Yeah, I saw it. I was confused.
I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, why do I have to acknowledge that he's Captain America now? It's like, no, that's not Captain America, right? Or if you're gonna build that up, then show me something more about this guy that makes me want to follow him, right? It's and I think Hollywood misses that mark because there's two, and I call it checkbox diversity, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the only kind of diversity Hollywood understands. It's like, can we check this box? Yes or no? And that's why we get so many shitty movies now.
Yep, exactly. Because they're putting the message above the creativity. Like if you just work on the art, you can weave the messaging in there. You can still have like a moral of the story or something there, but it's so like on the nose because that's the main thing that they're thinking about is, does it check off all of these boxes? And that's not art, that's propaganda.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think we've gotten way too comfortable with propaganda, if I'm being honest. Like I think we've gotten way too comfortable with it. Like I think to the point where we're just okay with it now.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I look at the stuff going on and we've embraced it.
Yeah.
like don't get me wrong. I there was a time when, sure, back in like the 90s, even in the 80s especially, where it would have been cool to see more black superheroes, more black characters, original characters though, not race swaps, right? Like I would have loved to have seen that. Sure, in Hollywood, there was a time where, if we're being real, we're keeping it at 100, right? There was a time where if you were black, you were cast as either the pimp, the drug dealer, the basketball player, or the hoe, right? Those were the four, and Hollywood shamefully kept these stereotypes going for decades, right? Now all of a sudden Hollywood's progressive and they want inclusion and diversity all over the place. It's like, you guys were like this up until 2008. Like, what are you talking about, right?
Yep. I mean, but hey, they still took the roles though. But now the new thing is, like, instead of making actual good roles, you just race swap characters. And to me, I like to turn that on its head and say, like, okay, so how do you feel taking the sloppy seconds of the white man? Because that's exactly what you're doing.
I say it all the time. It's like, guys, so you guys are cool with these hand-me-downs?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You would rather see a black Superman than an original black superhero?
Yeah.
You're okay with that? In fact, we got the super chat here, which is kind of funny because I saw this today from the Orange Man for $2. There's a new white Black Panther in comics. Yes, I saw that, and that is batshit insane.
That's real?
Yeah, so I guess the storyline is T'Challa. Oh, you're gonna love this, by the way. Okay. T'Challa, the king of Africa, right, had an illegitimate white child with some white woman, right, like years ago, and that white child came back to Wakanda to challenge his father, his deadbeat black dad, right, for the throne of Wakanda, and he beats him. So now a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes sits on the throne of Wakanda.
Yo, who wrote that? What do they look like?
I think his name is Chris Priest or something Priest. His last name is Priest, but this is not a joke. This is happening.
Oh, that's funny. I need a movie for that. I want to see that.
Oh my God, so do I.
5K.
In fact, I'm buying that comic the day it comes out just because I have to have it.
Oh, that's funny.
That is insane. And black folks are losing their minds online about this.
No, because it's not the same.
All of a sudden, race swap is not okay. All of a sudden, right?
You don't understand it though. It's because of the 400 years that we have been oppressed. That's So this makes it. White people are always represented in Hollywood. Okay.
Right. So yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And what's crazy is not only did they, it's not that they race swapped this character. They race swapped the king of Africa with the white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes, while at the same time making the former king of Africa, T'Challa, a deadbeat black dad. So even the king is a deadbeat black dad. And they don't see the problem with this.
I mean, I also, you know what? There's a part of me that says good, because at the same time, when people are screaming for representation, don't be mad when someone tries to do it. Okay. You never said that it has to be in one specific way, this representation. Right.
But why are they mad? Race swapping.
But then again, why are they mad though? Because they'll take the representation in other avenues that are bad for the black community, like we were talking about the rap artists and stuff. So that's fine. But this isn't. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it is hilarious. I'm sure they're going to catch hell for this.
Yeah, well,
they're going to catch hell for this because basically it's like the Ryan Gosling meme come to life for the most part.
I've been waiting for it. It is time.
Oh my God! If they dare put this in a movie, I will be their opening night.
I will watch it.
No, it's wild stuff. As someone who's Hollywood adjacent and do a lot of things in Hollywood, for me it's like I'm just every now and then, luckily, we'll catch a good indie or something, but for the most part I've given up on the major studios. I look at what's happening with Harry Potter, and we're going to talk about race swapping. I mean, a black Snape, and they're okay with that. Right now, I don't know if you've read Harry Potter, but in the book, Snape gets hung on a tree. Like hung.
I didn't know that. I didn't finish the books.
And they're going to do that with a black man. They're going to hang him from a tree.
They will.
Right?
I don't think they will.
I look. There's so many problematic things about having a black Snape that they didn't take into account.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see it blow up in their face.
You're a nigga, Harry. I love it.
Because they throw around the term mudblood. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are going to be hot.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I want to see it. Sometimes I just like to see things, crash and burn, and just let them do it. Just let them destroy it. It's fine.
Oh no, you have to. You have to let them feel.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to let them feel. Look, the way the film industry is going right now, they are a hair away from bankruptcy. So I mean, they can keep playing these wild games if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They can keep playing these games. Well, Disney is not in good shape right now.
Yeah.
And they haven't been in good shape for a long time. So they can keep playing these wild games, but nothing good comes from woke.
No. Just turns to shit.
So my question is, and you already answered this, but I want to hear you say it again.
Okay.
So what's the fix?
The what?
What's the fix for the black community?
The fix. I'm like, talking about drugs? What are you talking about?
No. I mean, how do we fix this? Like, how do we fix what's happening with this person?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, God, that's it. It's God. It's 100% the gospel. And I say this because if we understand that this fractured mess has always existed in the black community, it will black pill you. It will make you so just like, you feel this sense of no hope when you see, Black Americans, we've been dealing with this since the, I don't even know how far back it goes. So there really is no solution. Like, you can wake people up politically, but then that doesn't actually fix the problem, because I'm sure you see it all over social media where people on the right are always fighting. So you can still align the same way politically, but at the end of the day, if there's not some unifying thing that just unites everyone, you're always going to have this sort of infighting and this conflict of worldviews, and nothing can fix that except God.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the more I've gotten back into the word, I agree with that. I don't think there is anything us humans can do at this point to fix anything. Like, I think that, and look, people know me, and they know that I have wild takes, and I'm not the most conventional person, but and yes, I've been known to be black pilled. But I think there's nothing I feel like man can do at this point. I feel like we've done so much damage that if God doesn't intervene, I don't know where we go from here. Like, I don't know, we can only get worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it's going to get worse. And that's why I'm so grateful that I have, the Lord fills me with joy every day, because otherwise I would be a depressed wreck looking at just how chaotic things have been. Like, back in 2020, I mean, you saw the documentary, that was literally me for like a good year and a half, just all depressed. And
I mean, you did go through some pretty extreme things.
I did.
Like, that would break most people.
But you know what the thing was too, is when I had my cancel culture thing, I started going down that political rabbit hole, and I started giving myself anxiety because I started reading into communism and started seeing, okay, so BLM, they are Marxists, and what do Marxists believe, and what are they after? And that shit will mess with your head.
Yeah.
And thankfully I'm not in that headspace anymore, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, especially when you're looking at how bad the black community in particular is. Since we're talking about it, it can seem like it's hopeless, but what we can't do, God can do. And this is why I said, like, if you watch the Uncle Tom 2 documentary, the difference between the black community now versus back in the 50s and 60s is that more black people had God at the center of their lives. So that meant your household was going to look different. The way that you raised your kids was going to look different. And now it's just everyone is doing their own thing. So of course we're going to get the result that we have.
How much do you think technology has played a part in that, though? In the erasure of God, I mean.
Huge. So, fun fact, I learned that the printing press was created by a man who wanted to spread the gospel more. So he believed in God, and he was like, this is going to be a way that more people will be able to read the good news. And it's funny because technology comes in. Now you got this social media, and it almost seems to be an inverse of that, where people are just glued to their phone, watching all of this brain rot, essentially, and you can see the effects of it.
No, you're absolutely right. I think, honestly, I think social media is probably the worst thing that happened to us. Probably period. I think that we didn't understand what we were getting into with this, right? Maybe not everybody needs a voice. I'm just going to say that maybe not everyone needs a voice. And I just think we were happier. I think we were happier people before social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think a big part of that is because social media amplifies things tenfold. So when you're on social media, you see someone 5 states away from you die, George Floyd, and you think that that thing is now representative of what's happening for every single Black person in America.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're
also, you see this idolization of George Floyd, which was that was so weird to me. It's like, guys, I get it. You know, cops can be assholes. I've had a hard time with cops when I was growing up, and I was a good kid, and I still had a hard time with cops. I get it, but we made an idol of this man, which was crazy to me, because I mean, there was nothing characteristic about this guy that was admirable.
No, he didn't do anything good for society. You know, life is precious. If you recognize that we're all made in the image of God, every life has value, even people that I disagree with. And I believe that those people have an opportunity to be saved too. Right. But he didn't objectively provide anything beneficial for society.
No, he didn't. And were we so desperate that we needed some martyr? We needed a martyr of some kind to rally behind. Like, I really, George Floyd is a mystery to me, because I don't understand why we went to the extent we did for this guy.
Well, I can diagnose that for you. Okay. It's because, sir, we are all spiritual beings, and internally we all have this desire to slay a dragon, if you will. Okay. There's something, there's some type of desire for meaning, right? And so these people are rallying behind the death of this man, and they think that this is our ultimate calling, is to glorify this guy who we've made into a martyr.
No, and I get that. In fact, you know, Black Lives Matter was born out of that, right? I mean, if you want to break it down, I mean, the Black Lives Matter movement was pretty much born out of Ferguson, Missouri, when Michael Brown died. That's kind of when it all popped off, right? And that's when, you know, the protests and the groups were forming. And this is something that, and we didn't talk about this, but this is something that, this is what liberalism does, right? It takes somebody who they might not be having the greatest time in their life. Like, you know, things are bad, things are not looking good. In my case, I was going through a divorce, and it gives you something to fight for, because, you know, and it takes you out of your own head, right? And gives you a cause. And that's where social justice came about, and all these things. And they latch onto that, and they pull those kind of people in because they're unhappy with their life. So they want to push that aside and fight for something more noble to give their life some kind of meaning. And that's how you get caught into this, you know, social justice trap, right? Which is basically a leftist trap.
Yeah.
And that's where it all began. And so, yeah, that's where, you know, look, they're short. I saw many videos where it looked like the cops were at fault. I get that. And sometimes they were. Then there were times where it's like, no, this guy was just being a dumbass and he got shot. You know what I mean? But then we started glorifying those people.
Yeah.
That were the dumbasses who got shot.
Yep. Yeah, we just completely lack the ability to have context before we get angry about something. And, you know, like I was saying, when I like watching body cam footage, and I think there is a reason why whenever I'm seeing a Black suspect in one of these videos that I watch, 9 times out of 10, they end up screaming, "I can't breathe." That is a social contagion that they picked up from the wake of the George Floyd and all the other people. And it's like a learned behavior.
Well, it's in their, and I guess in their mind, it's also like, no pun intended, like a get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's like I just I can't breathe, and all of a sudden, no matter what crime I committed, the
Mhm.
cop is at fault once I say I
Yeah.
can't breathe.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it goes back for me with social media. Social media is the contagion. It's the one that if we didn't have this, I think our worldview would be a lot different. Like
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't associate every single thing that happens to our own life the way that we do.
Yeah.
And I think it's been more of a detriment than anything else. Now I say that as somebody who, is chronically online, and
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
my brand is online and that whole thing. But I feel like, you know what? I would easily give it up if we could just kind of go back to simpler times.
Yeah. I think if people just take little sabbaticals from the internet, it'll do them some good,
Oh God, yes.
I think even without the internet, you would have still had a lot of the same problems. It just exacerbated it a lot more.
Yeah, it amplifies it by like
yeah.
1,000.
Yeah. So yeah, just take some time off. I do it.
So when in the video or in the doc, you how much time did you take off when you decided to just take a break? Like how much time did you actually take off?
I want to say, I'm probably getting the dates wrong, but I think it was like 6 months, I want to say.
So you were just 6 months just cold, nothing like
living off of my savings, 6 months.
wow. Like,
yeah.
like for people who don't stream, you don't understand. Like that's a long time.
It's a long time. Just
That's a
drain my
long time
savings.
to
I'm
take
just
off,
like,
yeah.
I could not do it.
I'll put it to you this way, guys. I don't think Asmund Gold could take 6 months off. Like I really don't. Like 6 months is a long time.
Yeah.
So wow, but you needed that though.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to be alone with my thoughts. Granted, I was still smoking weed and trying to numb my thoughts at the same time,
Sure.
but I needed to get away from the noise. And in retrospect, as you know, in the doc, I think that was God taking me out of that environment. And I think he does that with people oftentimes. He wants to show you something. He wants to pivot you and say, hey, you did that, but now you're done with that thing because I need you over here. And I see that now. It was very painful at the time, but like, I get it now.
You know what, though? It's always painful at the time.
Yeah.
Right? The clarity comes after that.
Yeah.
Right? But riding that storm is rough.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is rough. And you see it clearly in that. Guys, watch her documentary. It's amazing. It's on Prime. It's only like $3.50, like $3.50, man. That's less than Starbucks. Watch the documentary. It's inspiring. It's a great watch. So
thank you, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I highly recommend it. And hey, and remember, I'm a film critic, guys. So watch.
Oh, that is true. See, look at that.
So you got a critic telling you definitely watch it.
All right. Okay. What would you rate it as, like a number rating for the cinematography, so I can tell my friend?
Oh, I thought it was shot fairly well. I mean, I would give it I give it a 7, like a solid 7.
Okay.
Yeah, like which for me, you have to understand that's a good score for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm so hard on I'm pretty brutal when it comes to like film reviews. So but the 7 is good.
Okay. All right.
I've given big budget films like a 5.
Oh. Whew. All right.
But no, but the content of it is easily like 9-10. Is because you're engaged. You're engaged the whole time. And honestly, for me, that kind of matters more than the cinematography.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you can have a great movie with great cinematography and it just be boring as hell.
That's true.
Case in point, Mission Impossible. I'm sorry, I love you, Tom Cruise. That last movie was
I didn't see it. Yeah.
It was rough, man. 3 hours though. I mean, you can't do that. 3 hours and 50 minutes, I think it was. Like it was. Oof. I felt every minute of that.
Is that like Titanic? That's Titanic hours.
I know, right? Like, I'm sorry, I just can't do that, man. I did that with the that DiCaprio movie, that Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon.
I've never seen that.
Oh, my body was aching by the time I left the theater. I'm like, what did I sit through, man? That movie was 4 hours.
That's a lot. That's a part-time job.
Like, at least give us an intermission, right? Like, let us have time to go walk around and come back to our seats or something. But
yeah.
Anyway, I'm going way off track. See, that's the thing. Once I start talking about movies, it's easy for me to get like
yeah
in that zone. But no, Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, I do have a super chat that came in that I don't want to forget to read because like I said, I'm a terrible YouTuber. Rap Stallion for $20. I know I said the last stream, but if Mark Miller approved a Blade and Spawn movie, Wesley Snipes and Michael J. White can still kick some ass. It would shut people up, but people will go nuts for it. Yeah, sort of, man. I think those guys are way too old to be playing those parts now, especially Wesley Snipes, man. That guy's like 70 almost.
He can still do it. Let him do it.
I mean, he can do it, but damn, he is an old man. He is. All right, we got another one. This is from. Oh no, I already did that one. There was another one that came in. There it is. And this is from Devin 2677 for $2. The King of Wakanda caught that jungle fever. Yes, guys. T'Challa found a snow bunny, knocked her up, and then left her. Left her to raise that white boy all on her own. I can't believe they wrote this. I can't believe this is happening, but okay.
I'm getting that comic.
Oh, I'm absolutely getting that comic. There's no way in hell I'm not. And then one more, and that is from Cranberry Langers for $2. Just a super chat. Thank you.
Hi, Cranberry.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate all you guys. But anyway, Gothix, yeah, that's going to be it for us. I just wanted to get you on and chat with you about this stuff because I've been wanting to have you on for a while. So I'm glad we were able to do this. And like I said, your story is really interesting, and I want more people to watch that documentary because it's definitely worth the watch. But you got the Riververse happening. Anything else happening that we should know about?
Anything else happening? More political stuff. Nothing I'm just excited for more creative opportunities, and that hasn't happened yet. But when it does, I'll let you know. But I'm always in the political pipeline, traveling and doing things. But yeah, that's about it, man. It was awesome to chat with you. I've been wanting to talk to you more. I feel like we never actually have full conversations when we're on the other shows. We're on a panel
of other people, so we didn't get a chance to do this one-on-one thing. Oh, there was another question I want to ask you before we leave. Are you still gaming at all? Are you playing anything right now?
It's so funny that you asked. I guess I'll announce it now. So Meta PCs just partnered me. So they sent me this rig right here. And so I'm going to be doing more gaming streams. I've been wanting to, but my old PC, I've had it since like 2018 and it was dying on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing that more because I really want to build my Rumble channel.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to boost up my numbers over there. And now I got this beautiful machine right here. So excited.
Yeah, no, that is nice. And is there any games in particular you're looking forward to playing?
Well, I suck at Marvel Rivals, but I will try playing that for a little bit.
That's like my favorite game right now.
I'm so bad at it. But yeah, I'm going to play that. And I think there was some indie games that have already been released. But like I said, I haven't played games in a while just because couldn't do it on my PC. But nothing big, no mainstream stuff because I'm just sick of mainstream things in general.
I totally hear you. There's one game that I just started playing. It is a mainstream game, but I heard too many good things about it that I had to pick it up. It's a game called Claroscura Expedition 33. It's a turn-based RPG, which I'm normally not into, but this one is different. It is beautiful. It's like probably the most gorgeous game I've ever played. Really cool game. But other than that, I'm usually like I'm playing Marvel Rivals. Believe it or not, I'm still playing Overwatch.
Me too.
I've quit that game so many times, and I keep coming back to it.
It's like an abusive relationship, and you just keep coming back.
It is like goddamn Blizzard, man. Forgive me for that.
What do you play in Overwatch? Do you play Hanzo?
No, absolutely not. No. You know what's funny? I'm a Symmetra player.
Okay, all right. So you're annoying.
I'm very annoying. I'm the most annoying guy. I play Symmetra, but I'm also a Roadhog player.
Okay, Roadhog's nice. Okay,
I love Roadhog. I just if I'm a tank, it's going to be Roadhog.
Okay, nice, very good. I love playing. I'm really good at support. I love Life Weaver, which is funny because he's like the gayest character.
But he's fun. No, but he's a fun character to play.
So fun, man. I love saving people and then hearing them grovel for me on the mic. Thank you, Gothix, for saving me. I'm like, oh, so no problem.
Yeah, no, I really like that character, and that's what look, you can make a gay character and they can be cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's a very cool character.
Yeah,
I do play support off and on. Like I play Anna and I play Anna and Baptiste are like my two supports.
Yeah. Really quick though, as far as like the gay thing, have you heard when you're in a lobby and the characters are talking to each other?
Yes.
Have you heard what Life Weaver says to Baptiste?
No.
He's like, so I have dinner reservations at this very nice restaurant, and I have no one to bring. And he's like, I wonder if I could bring this really nice dashing man. And basically talking about Baptiste.
Oh my God. I never.
Yes. I'm like, y'all are gay.
I didn't know this. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few LGBT characters in that game.
But he's super gay.
No, Life Weaver is gay. Like,
yeah.
Like he's not coded gay. He is gay.
He does it with a few other characters. Like he'll ask Junkrat and Roadhog if they're a couple, if they're together.
Wow. How did I miss that?
Yeah. Go listen to it next time. It'll blow your mind.
All right, guys, thank you so much, man, for watching. Do me a favor, if you're watching, please sub to the channel. Greatly appreciated. Like the video and retweet and all that cool YouTube stuff that I always forget to say in some of my videos. I'll be back next Thursday, probably regular time, 6 p.m. And you guys have a great weekend, man.